Good morning and welcome to Williams Dog Training Company. We're here today with Fred and Sultan, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today is Sultan's ability to understand and respond to his obedience commands, the corrections and motivations we give him while we're working with him, and the training equipment that we're using. Fred is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he's going to keep the bulk of that leash folded neatly in his right hand, leaving his left hand free to give the correction. The correction that we give is a tug and let go to the training collar, which is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Sultan's been fitted with his own personal training collar, and we'll show you how to properly use this during your one-on-one lesson. Sultan is seated on Fred's left, which is where all our obedience training is done. The first command they're going to demonstrate is heeling, which is proper walking on a leash, and Fred and Sultan take off doing that now. The command you want to use for this is Sultan heel, and then you start walking and he falls right in line on your left-hand side. And we've also gone ahead and incorporated our sit command into this. So anytime you stop your feet, Sultan will sit. There he does it. Now it's important when you're heeling Sultan that he walks nicely at your pace on your left-hand side without trying to pull ahead of you or lag behind. If he did attempt to pull ahead or lag behind, you say no, give a tug and let go correction of the training collar, repeat your command to heel, and then start walking again. Now the next command they're going to demonstrate is our stay command, which is the hand and voice command. Fred will use the open flat of his left palm, an inch or so from Sultan's muzzle, and the one-word command to stay. He then walks out to the end of the training leash. Now this is a great exercise to build up self-control in Sultan. You can start practicing this one at about a minute's time and work your way up in increments to about 3 minutes. Now as Fred returns back to Sultan, he's going to walk all the way around him, providing an added distraction as he goes behind him, and right back to that left-hand side heel position. Sultan remains in his sit-stay throughout. Fred gives him a little praise, and then heels him right out of it. I'll show you a little more of the heel sit and stay. There's that automatic sit. As they come back around, he has him in the sit, and he gives him the stay. Walks back out to the end of that leash. This time, instead of returning back, he demonstrates the come or recall command. Calls Sultan in using his name. He comes and sits in front of you. And then we have a move called the finish. Fred heels him right around the back of him and gets him right back to that left-hand side heel position, and he sits. And we'll demonstrate that stay one more time. He has him in the sit, gives him a stay at the end of the training leash. And now the recall. Call Sultan in using his name. He's going to come in, sit right in front of you. And then the finish, Fred heels him right around the back of him and gets him right back to that left-hand side heel position, and he sits. Nicely done. It's a good time to remind you want to practice all your commands with Sultan about 15 to 20 minutes a day, just to help them stay fresh in his mind. You can practice inside or outside your home and incorporate the commands into your daily routine with him. Next, we'll be showing you our down commands as they come back around. This first one is going to be down from a heel position. Fred will use the open flat of his left palm straight down to the ground and the one-word firm command to down. He then gives him a stay and walks out to the end of the training leash. This is another great exercise to build up that self-control in Sultan. This one can be started at 3 minutes, and you work your way up in increments to about 5. And as Fred returns back to him, he's going to walk all the way around him again, providing that added distraction as he goes behind him, and right back to that left-hand side heel position. Sultan holds that down throughout. Fred gives him some praise and then heels him right out of it. And we'll show you that down command one more time when they come back around. And you see Sultan's doing very well, but if for any reason he does not respond to one of your commands, it's always very important to follow through with your commands you give him. So the first word out of your mouth would always be no, followed by a tug and let go correction to his training collar, and then you're going to repeat the command you gave him. Now Fred's going to give him the down again, and a stay, and walks back out to the end of that leash. And this time he will demonstrate that come or recall command right out of the down position. Calls Sultan in, he comes, he sits right in front of him, gets a little praise, and then the finish, Fred heels him right around the back of him, and right back to that proper left-hand side heel position, and he sits. Nicely done. We'll give them a second to get lined up for our down from a distance command. Now this will be our down from a distance. You're going to have him in a sit, give him a stay, walk out to the end of your leash. This is the only time you use your right hand to give the command, and Fred will drop him into a down from the end of the training leash. And he went halfway instead of all the way, so Fred said no and repeated his command, and Sultan went right down. He then returns back to him by walking all the way around and right back to that left-hand side heel position. Nicely done. Now those are our basic obedience commands we've worked on with Sultan here at school. We've also just started to move his training along a little and advance it. So we've been working on the little off-leash stuff, which we'll show you now. Fred has him in a sit, gives him a stay, drops the leash completely, and walks away. Walks a full lap around him, back to him, gives him the down and a stay, walks away again. Well, obviously we don't intend for you to try his commands off-leash the minute he comes home, but this will give you just an idea of what you can build up to with Sultan, as long as you put in that 15 to 20 minutes a day with him and practice your commands on leash first. Alright, we've demonstrated for you the obedience work we've done with Sultan here at school. It's been a pleasure working with Sultan, and we thank you again for choosing Williams Dog Training Company as your personal dog trainer.